Hello, it's Charles Scoville, your Golden Harvest agronomist with your Focus Friday here on September the 22nd. Can you believe it? Looks like this is number 20 in the series of podcasts this summer. It's been just a great time getting a chance to share with each of you the goings on across the state of Michigan agronomically this year. And it's getting more exciting as we start to move towards harvest. Items I want to cover this week. First of all, a quick heat unit update where we're at there. My first harvest update for the fall, and also something we're seeing out there in the corn called random plant death, and give you a little bit of background on what that is and see if you're seeing any of that in your fields out there. But first of all, for the heat unit update this week, it has been what seemed like a little bit warmer these last couple of days. But when I ran the numbers, if we compare it to the 5-year average, we actually again lost about 20 to 40 heat units, depending on where you're at across the state of Michigan. And so that continues to keep us 10 days to 2 weeks behind normal, or at least the 5-year average. And certainly we're seeing that in the development of the corn crop, especially out there. Um, but the good news is, in the near-term forecast anyways, the call is for warmer and drier than normal conditions. And so we will absolutely look forward to that to continue to move this crop forward this year. As far as the harvest update, we actually took off our first silage plot this year over in West Michigan. What a tremendous plot there. The quality and the quantity look to be really solid and better than expected. So gives me a lot of excitement for what's to come in the corn harvest this year. We did see a little bit of tip back on a few hybrids, but for the most part, a good kernel depth. I think the moisture late has helped that quite a bit. And so once we get the moistures in, we'll know real tonnage on that. But it sure looks good as it moved into the pile today. I've heard of a little bit of soybean harvest starting in, and actually had one report of some early corn harvest, but it was pretty wet and some pretty early planted corn there. For the most part, soybeans seem to be just turning color right now, and that is good to know. Probably still another couple of weeks till we see much soybean harvest going on, but we're at least moving that direction and looking forward to seeing what's in the field there. As far as the corn harvest, most of the corn today is sitting around half milk line. So that means we need another 200 heat units to reach black layer, or that 32% moisture. And more than likely, we're looking at a good 2 weeks to get us there. So as long as we keep the frost away a little longer, got a chance to get a good majority of this corn crop to maturity naturally. As we also think about other things going on, starting to see what's called random plant death. Now, obviously we're seeing some corn turn colors right now. We've talked about that a little bit, especially where we've seen some of the top of the plant turn yellow and the middle of the plant is green, and then the bottom of the plant is kind of yellow, and that's not random plant death. That's usually anthracnose top dieback on the top, and when it yellows from the bottom, that's usually nitrogen deficiency or some other nutrient deficiencies showing up there. But this random plant death, it reminds me a lot of when we see Phytophthora in soybeans late season, where you get a live plant and a live plant and a live plant down the row, and then all of a sudden you just a single plant that's completely dead, brown top to bottom, and then right next to it's another live plant. And you'll go and see these scattered random dead plants throughout a field there. Now, if you were to dig those plants up, you would notice a root rot typically there, and more than likely that's actually caused by a fusarium crown rot in most of those cases. And so, if we think about that and we start to see an excessive amount of random plant death out there, we'll certainly want to look at some management of that. For the most part, we're seeing just scattered plants and not anything that's going to be a huge detriment on yield. But where we want to manage that, certainly hybrid selection is an important part of that. Picking hybrids that have good solid roots and good resistance to crown rot out there. And then long term, of course, looking to manage those fields by improving drainage. Or if we do have a hybrid we really like but has a crown rot issue, just making sure we keep those hybrids positioned onto our more well drained soils. And so, with that, we're going to have a little shorter version of the Focus Friday here this week, but it's a great time to get back into the field, walk those hybrids, start to think about scheduling harvest for any fields we're starting to see any stalk issues in, but for the most part, they look pretty good, and we're looking forward to a great harvest. Again, this is Charles Scoville, your Golden Harvest agronomist, with your Focus Friday.